Yes. State testing. It's one of the worst things you can ever do to a person. Now, you're probably wondering, Hoka bro, why do you complain about state testing? Well, actually, that's such a stupid thing to say. No one's saying that. Everyone hates state testing. But, before I grind like a little bitch and they're like, oh no, but your state testing isn't as hard. There's like some random exam in Europe that's 10 times harder. I don't care. Alright, so, this is the state testing experience. Now, I live in the state of New Jersey. When I used to live in New Hampshire, but I wasn't old enough to... I don't even know if they have standardized testing in New Hampshire. I don't know. And I don't feel like Googling that, but I wasn't old enough to take that, most likely. Because in New Jersey, on the other hand, once you reach the 3rd grade, you have to start beginning this standardized testing bullshit. Or, as New Jersey likes to call it, the park test, or now the NJSLA, or the NJ Slam. Alright, so basically, we had this assembly in like 3rd or 4th grade. I don't know why. Wait, never mind. We never got assembly in 3rd grade. It was in 4th grade. We had like a whole ass presentation on this state testing. So basically, that doesn't matter. All you need to know is that I had to do it in 3rd grade. So, here's how it goes. You had to walk into this room. Every single year, it seems like you're either in your homeroom or you're assigned to this random ass room, either with a random ass teacher or with someone you know. For example, this year, for my math and LA courses, I was with my Algebra 1 teacher, so that makes sense. But on the other hand, in 6th grade, I was placed with this random ass teacher. I don't even know what she teached. It was just some random ass teacher that I had to be in her room with all the time. Every single one. I didn't even variety. And even weirder than that is the fact that in 8th grade, I'll get to the science tests later, but basically, so, let me talk about the LA tests. Let me talk about the environment. I already mentioned that you were in a random ass room with the teacher, but I didn't talk about how, whatchamacallit, the actual, alright, so once you're in the room for, 8 a.m., the teacher has to read this, robotic-ass tape. This robotic-ass, script. And it goes today, you will take the ELA Unit 2 test. You may not have any electronic devices on you. Browsing internet and other bullshit is illegal. And your test will not be scored. And, you have to, keep on doing this robotic-ass test. And then, during this entire thing, you get your testing ticket to go on this app called Test Nav. I don't know if that's just, a United States thing. That probably, yeah, that's just American, but I'm pretty confident this isn't just for us New Jerseyans. I think it's common for, other states, because every single year, Test Nav is kind of stupid. It does forget where you are. It forgets what state you're in, and you're okay, where do you live again? And then I remember that there's other states in New Jersey. So, let me know if you're from another state and you actually have to do this bullshit. Anyways, so, you gotta read this robotic script, you get your testing ticket, log in, you gotta wait 10 minutes for the teacher to read the whole entire script, and then you begin the test. So, let me talk about the LA tests. The LA tests are all the same, honestly. You get, these passages, and you have to read and answer questions about them. They're all the same. Occasionally, you'll have to write, a written response about them, usually an essay. And then, something unique for this year in 8th grade, you had to write, for both LA tests, you had to do a written response. For one of them, you either got a literary analysis essay, or you got, a narrative. Luckily, I got a narrative, but it was on an ass story like all of them are. They're like, I don't think there was ever a good story in these. They're just honestly so boring. Even when the author's purpose to entertain, they suck ass at entertaining, and they're all like these random ass stories. I don't know, it sucks. Well, at least it was a narrative and I didn't have to write that. But on the second unit, you had to write a research task analysis essay. You had 2 different sources, you had to compare them, how they prove their point differently. Yeah, it wasn't that hard. Now let's talk about the math shit. Okay, they put, sometimes they just put, you could either have, like, the easiest problem. Alright, let's say this. You start your test. Question 1. What is 1 plus 1? 2. Okay. Next question. A landscape company mowed 30 acres of lawn. They... oh my gosh. I don't even know how I can make a good problem out of this. Tom and Michael work there. Tom makes $5 an hour. Michael makes $7 an hour. However, I calculate 2... and it's probably like... and then part A is like simple. It's like, oh, who makes more? Actually, I think this is... Tom makes $7 every 2 hours, and Michael makes $3 every hour. Who makes more? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's Tom that makes more, because he makes 7 hours. He makes 3.5 an hour, Michael only makes 3. So yeah, basic ass math. And the next one's like, one day, while Tom was mowing, his lawnmower broke down. So he lost 5 cents. Michael's also lost down. And then there's always like something stupid. I don't know how else to explain it. That's an easy problem. But like there's always this bullshit. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to remember this problem. There was this one problem on the math test that fucking pissed me off. All the nerds were like, actually, Pokebro, it was easy. And I'm convinced they were high, but it was confusing myself. So, I swear, Daniel's probably gonna roast me for this, because it's probably gonna be such an easy-ass problem to him, too. So basically, there was like this laminated signs. They sold small, medium, and large signs. Part A was to, like... I think it was more like plug-in things. A customer ordered, a customer spent like $100 on an order. He did not order any large signs. How much small and medium signs did he have to order? Like something basic as like that. Plugging in numbers. Part B is kind of hard. And then part C, they throw in something stupid. Alright, so. The company also charges laminated signs at a certain percent fee. A customer paid this and all this gobbledygook, and you have to find it out. It just did not make any sense to me at all. It was the most bullshit problem I think I've ever seen in math. But I'm not talking, that was just this year. There's always like some random bullshit you didn't learn. In 6th grade, the only classes that learned percentages were the math class. Guess how many like percent questions there were? There were like 5 on both units, and it was stupid. Alright, that's math done. Now it's time for the science. Science doesn't make any fucking sense. So, usually once you get your scores released, I'll talk about that now. There's also the scoring at the end. In the middle of August, they'll give you your scores back, and it's out of like 900, 800, and you need, it's out of 900, and you need a 750 to pass. It goes for both LA and this thing. They have these different ranges to see if you're approaching, or you're exceeding, or you're meeting the expectations of an average student. And usually I'm always in the, I think I was only like exceeding for like one math test. I really got at the time I got like a meeting expectations. You're meeting expectations. I've always slapped down in the middle there. Anyways, now it's time to talk about the science test. The science test instead scores out of 300, and for some reason you only take the science test in 8th grade. What? And then there was no science test at the end of, like, 4th grade. There was no science test at the end of, like... And then you just randomly give us a test at the end of middle school? Seriously? And the funny thing is that I remember they only did this for 1 year, and I had to be in my 6th grade year. They made the 6th graders take the science test, and none of it, I repeat, none of it is something I learned. Actually, they actually used to do this thing where, they didn't do it this year, unless I'm high, but New Jersey has this start strong fall testing, where you have to do, like, more, like, comparison. Oh, you do this testing to see where you learned, what you've learned, compare what you've learned. Like, that's all this is. I think they removed it this year. I'm really happy that they did, because those tests were so bullshit, because you didn't know anything. It was just so pointless, because you get a million other tests. There's the SGO. You take one at the beginning, you take one at the end. It's the same test. NJSLA is different. You take one at the beginning, and then you take one at the end. But they're completely different tests, and the one at the end is 10 times harder. Actually, no, the fall one's harder. They usually give easier questions on the other one. I think I'm getting a bit sidetracked. And there's also these Linkits throughout the year. I don't know if you, like, just Google Linkit Test Taker. It's terrible. The app is just terrible. I'm sorry. It's just bad. TestNav is a good app. I respect it. It's a good test taker. I would use it. If it wasn't, like, made for, like, just specifically United States testing, for standardized testing. It's a good test taker. It kind of has to be, but it's a good test taker. Linkit's just shit. It's just bad. There's nothing else to say. It's just bad. It's just a bad test taker. What is this game? I gotta go back? Whatever. Linkit's just a bad test taker. That's all I gotta say. And you gotta take 3 of them throughout the year. See where you improve. I don't know why they have to do this. Anyways, I'm just gonna get back to the thing. So, I don't even know where I was. I was on the science testing. Yeah. We had to do, like, review for 2 weeks in my 8th grade science class. And I'm like, yeah, just get ready for the exam. Like, it's so random. What else could I talk about? Yeah, for, like, 6th grade, the funny thing is that you didn't have to take the science test for the NJSLA at the end of the year, but for the start strong fall, you had to take it in 6th grade. What was the point? You're just wasting my time. I'd rather be in homeroom playing Pokemon Fire Red, pirated. Nintendo, don't come after my ass. I'm joking. Anyways, I think that's really about it. I just wanted to do my head loose about state testing. It's really stupid. There's so many. Oh yeah, I didn't even really get into strict procedures. You cannot open your Chromebook or testing device ever again after you finish the test. What? What am I gonna do on there? Oh, you cannot go back into TestNav. You can only read a book. There must be nothing on your test desk. You also cannot talk. Okay, that makes sense. Most of these make sense, but I can't open my Chromebook again? For what reason? And they're like, always like, oh, you gotta make sure everything's secure. And like the teachers are like, oh my gosh, everything needs to be just sure. Like, it's like so strict, it isn't even funny. But as I said earlier, that's really all I had to like tear my head off about this stupid thing. So, should I do my Poke for 60 outro? I guess so. Thanks for watching. Peace.